Hey there, crafty friends. It's Tina here. Thanks so much for stopping by the channel today. In this video, I'm going to be creating a few cards featuring the Not Too Shabby April 2021 Lazy Day box. Now, in the box, you get 3 stamp sets, 2 paper packs, and a package of coordinating ephemera. And in my cards today, I'm going to be focusing mostly on the papers as well as the ephemera. So let's go ahead and get started. To get started, I went ahead and created all of my card bases, which are A2 in size and top folding. I went ahead and trimmed down all the pieces of the ephemera that I wanted to use. I wanted the white edge to be slim, like how I like my stamped images, and I chose these lovely florals because I felt like they coordinated beautifully with the pattern papers. Now, to save time, I went ahead and I cut out all of my layers, and for this card design, I chose the beautiful florals and used a die from my stash to create an angled part of a rectangle here. So I went and chose 2 different floral patterns, which I absolutely think are beautiful, and I felt like the pinks with the orange coordinated really well with this, and then the yellows really popped on this pattern paper. So I went ahead and decided to do 2 at a time because it really doesn't take much more time to do 2 cards versus 1. I also, from my stash, cut out some rectangles. Now, everybody usually has these types of dies in your stash, and these are wonderful because they go on your A2 size card base, leaving a little bit of a frame around the edge. So I went ahead and cut out 2 of those. Now, for interest, I went into my stash and I found some of this glittered cardstock, and I have a die that does these little angled cuts, and they make an amazing little border like so. And so I decided to pair the gold with the yellow flowers there, and on this one I have a rose gold. I'm not sure if you can tell the difference, but this sparkly glittered paper is rose gold and colored, and that is pretty much going to be the layout of my card. So let's go ahead and put these together. My new favorite glue is the Barely Arts Precision Craft Glue, and anytime that I'm working with glittered cardstock, I really do prefer to use the liquid because I feel like it lasts longer and it adheres so much better. And so all I'm doing is adding a little bit of liquid glue to line these up. Now, the florals are going to go across this glittered cardstock layer and cover up most of it, but I think just having that little bit of glittered cardstock peeking through really does make a big difference. And I'm just lining it up because they're flat on the sides, and so that was going to help me do it by standing it up like that. I'll just go ahead and push down. Using a bone folder with the liquid glue really works nicely. And also, if you have a stamp block, you can go ahead and set that on there. And that also helps your card layers to dry nice, flat, and even. I'll go ahead and do the same thing since we're creating 2 coordinating cards in this design. And now I can go ahead and glue this piece on to the white layer. I do prefer the liquid glue over the double-sided tape just because I have a hard time putting my layers on straight, and sometimes that double-sided adhesive tape really just sticks on there and you can end up ripping your design if you don't get it on there, and I like for it to be straight, and the liquid glue gives me that extra wiggle room so that I don't have to worry about ripping up my project because it's on there a little bit crooked. So I'm not sure if you guys can relate to that, but I imagine that you can. So again, I'm just laying this next layer on to the top. I'll go ahead and smooth that out with my bone folder, and that is the basic design of the card, just like that. So now I'm just going to adhere my flowers, but before I do that, I want to go ahead and stamp a sentiment. And I like to do all of the busy work before I actually adhere it onto my card base, so that way everything stays nice and flat. So now there are so many wonderful sentiments that come with these stamp sets, but I am in need of birthday cards, and so I'm going to reach for my Not Too Shabby Sprinkled with Love stamp set and use this happy birthday sentiment, since birthday cards is what I'm in need of. But these floral patterns are so versatile, you can really use them for an anniversary, just a note card, a friendship card, any of those cards it's going to fit. So what I like to do is emboss my sentiments, so I'm going to go ahead and get my stamp tool out and stamp and emboss that happy birthday sentiment using some black VersaFine Onyx ink. Now that I have both of my layers stamped with the sentiment, I can go ahead and glue them to my card bases. And I'm going to use the same liquid adhesive to go ahead and get these on there. Now that I have my card mostly put together, it's time to add the florals. And so what I'm going to do is use some double-sided foam tape for the center flower and have that popping up just a bit over the other two flowers so that it will have a little bit more of a dimensional effect. And then so now all I got to do is just arrange how I want those flowers to appear. Again, they're probably going to be covering up most of the glitter cardstock, but that's okay because I think the glitter peeking out of the sides is going to be super pretty, and so I was just adding that for a little something extra. I like to give good coverage on my foam tape, especially so that if it is getting mailed, it has nice substance across it. So once I figure out the arrangements of my flowers, I can go ahead and attach this adhesive to the front of the flowers. And I'm thinking that I want, let's see, I want to have them peeking out a little bit with the centers, but the greenery on this particular ephemera piece, I think, really works well and brings the florals together. I don't want to cover the sparkly centers of the flowers, but basically just kind of getting them in a row so that I can lay them across my card like that. Isn't that pretty? So that is how I'm going to do it. And then now I can add the liquid glue across the top because it's going to be sticking to the glittered cardstock. So just arranging my flowers again, not to cover up any of that gold sparkle, but to have it coming across. And this one, I think I want to tuck the yellow flower under just a little bit more because I don't want to cover all of that glitter. I do want some of that glitter peeking through like that. So I think that's so pretty. And so now I can go ahead and add some liquid glue going all the way across and get that over the top of my card like so. I think that this looks just beautiful. There, how's that? Talk about a super quick and easy card. And I've just added a couple more birthday cards to my stash. For a finishing touch, I'm going to grab some Nuvo crystal drops, and in this particular color, which is called Honey Gold, it actually matches both the gold as well as the rose gold. And I'm just going to add a few little dots for added dimension and added sparkle to tie it in with the glitter coming across the sides. And I think that that just adds the perfect and final touch. For my next card, I went ahead and cut out some more of the stitched rectangles using this floral pattern. And I also cut out 2 strips of the purple word pattern. I just love the way that this looks. Now this rectangle is a little bit bigger, so I have a bigger strip on this side, and this design came together so quick and easy as well. I also love the way that this pattern looks with the hearts and the kind of ombre effect, and look at how pretty just adding a circled layer with this pattern paper going across looks. So there are so many different card sketches out there. This is actually a design that I've used before, and I'm not sure if it's actually a card sketch, but it reminds me of a card sketch. But I went to this design for something quick and easy, and I felt like it came together just beautifully. I also really love the different ephemera pieces, and so I did cut them out and trimming the white edges and chose these designs for my cards. I opted to not go for a sentiment, which is absolutely fine. Not every card has to have a sentiment. The sentiments work really great for an inside of the card message as well, which is probably what I'm going to do. And I don't know exactly what the theme of my card is going to be just yet. Sometimes I like to have cards without sentiments, just so that as I need them, I can pull them out of my stash and stamp them and use them in the exact way that I want. And if I commit to a sentiment and it doesn't fit my needs, then I'm not able to use that card. So this works out really well for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim the little edge off here and get the rest of my card glued together. Quick and easy. I think I'm going to go ahead and pop up the little circle as well onto my card for some added dimension. This little kitty is absolutely adorable, and I think, of course, steals my heart and is my favorite image in this entire release. Because you know me, if you know me, you know I love my critters. Again, I do like to add the foam to give nice good coverage so that my card doesn't get crushed if I do decide to mail it. And then I just love the way that these ephemera pieces look layered just like this together. And then there are little words, time to relax, and then boss babe. So there is a sentiment on there in the actual picture. So you could do more, but I'm going to leave these as note cards so that I can use whatever theme that I need at the time. So again, with the Nouveau drops, I'm going to go ahead and add, just for a finishing touch, a little bit of sparkle into the center of the flowers. Here are the finished cards, the 4 that were created using a simple technique of cutting out the pattern paper, arranging the ephemera, and decorating the cards. And when you have the paper pad that is so well coordinated, it really comes together so quick and easy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm curious to know if you have a favorite. I think mine is going to be the little kitty because it always is the critter that tends to be my favorite. But now I have 4 cards in the time that it could have only taken me to do 1 based on, or I guess 2 based on the design. And so I hope that you will consider creating more than 1 card at a time, doubling them up to increase the number of cards in your stash. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye for now.